The shelter consultation report is in from the Oregon Humane Society regarding their findings at the Jackson County Animal Shelter, and what the OHS found during their comprehensive visit in late May is encouraging.
The report was very impressive, very thorough, and basically provides a roadmap for us moving forward. It's really a unique opportunity to actually have a professional organization like that come in and essentially give you your short-term and long-term work plan.
The OHS report gives specific recommendations in a variety of areas, and they center around reducing the number of pets that come into the shelter, improving the care while the animals are there, and reducing the amount of time animals stay at the shelter.
The big picture of all this is to try to reduce the intake coming in. That is, kind of make sure that the shelter is being used for the animals that are in need of shelter services. And then once the animals are in the shelter, making sure that we're providing adequate, humane care for those animals, and really importantly is reducing their length of stay. And that's finding ways to increase our adoptions, to increase transfers out to, say, other organizations like the Southern Oregon Humane Society or rescue groups. It's very important to reduce the length of stay. Shelters can be stressful environments for animals. We want to make sure that provide good quality care, but get them out of the shelter quickly and into a loving home.
The OHS recommends improving the volunteer program with the Friends of the Animal Shelter.
FOTUS is a critical, valuable partner in the shelter. They do so much in terms of the care for the animals. We wouldn't be able to function without Friends of the Animal Shelter. So they are very important, and the report identifies that they can be used in different ways, that perhaps they've been underutilized.
FOTUS really concentrates on the volunteer side of the operation, which the report didn't have as much to say about that. They were really concentrating on the operations and the care of the animals when they're here. So one of the things that I did last month was go up to Portland and visit the Oregon Humane Society along with the county shelters in Washington County and Multnomah County, and really concentrated on how they were using volunteers and the training provided to them, and came back with lots of great ideas for what we can do here through our volunteer force to help the shelter move forward.
The Jackson County Animal Shelter has taken immediate action and has started implementing the recommendations.
We've already started modifying our adoption process, try to make it less restrictive. We're going to make sure we have a real cutting-edge, up-to-date, progressive policy to be able to adopt animals quicker.
Some of the recommendations will take time and additional resources to implement. However, there are positive changes already taking place at the Jackson County Animal Shelter.
We've improved our website and our public information campaign. Specifically, there's been some areas regarding options for people to rehome pets, in addition to resources for dealing with stray cats. Some tips people can use trying to work with your neighbors, how to keep cats out of your garden and so forth. We're working on filling the vacant positions out at the shelter, and we're also in the process of implementing a new shelter software, which will greatly improve efficiencies, be able to better market our animals, increase our adoption rates, have better data reports. We can start doing some annual goals based on that, really track all our rates of adoptions, our length of stay. Additional training's been scheduled with the ASPCA. The Oregon Humane Society has just been fantastic. They were able to get training set up. Meet Your Adopters workshop coming up in September, and this is going to be done in conjunction with Southern Oregon Humane Society and volunteers. That's going to be great in terms of improving the adoption process, and we'll continue to do training. We've also started transferring a lot more animals, thanks largely to the Southern Oregon Humane Society. We've had almost 90 animals transferred to them in 2012, and we're also looking at for other areas, other rescue groups to do that. We're trying to reduce intake, and one of the things we've also done is we're asking people to, if they end up wanting to bring in a stray cat, that they limit it to one a day. It can get overwhelming this time of year with a large number of cats coming in, and we've got to try to dedicate the resources and provide better care to the animals that are actually at the shelter. We've had a foster program. Foster programs are great. Fosters are folks that would provide care to animals such as young kittens that may not be able to get the adequate care in the shelter. That's an example. As recently, actually, FOTUS had started an orphaned kitty task force to try to foster these kittens, which we have a lot of, so hopefully people will come down after seeing this and adopt some kittens. We've also started a system of unique identification with each animal using paper collars. That was part of the Oregon Humane Society recommendation to ensure that every animal's identified from the paperwork to the collar to the description. And we have multiple universal microchip scanners at the facility, so animals can be scanned multiple times. We're also conducting daily rounds. What that is, that each morning staff will go around, make observations of each animal, make observational notes as needed. If there's any medical issues, immediately start a medical chart to record those. Vaccinations are actually being administered now on the same day the animals are brought into the facility. Our cleaning and infection control procedures are also starting to change. We're doing it in a way that's less stressful, particularly with the cats. Implemented a method called spot cleaning that's best practices, and I think that'll help reduce the stress on cats and reduce disease. Within cats, when they get stressed, they're more likely to become ill. Our hand hygiene as a whole for staff volunteers, we have some signage really promoting that. Again, that's part of the infection control processes. And we're working on getting, we have dog beds, toys, enrichment programs, if you will, for cats and dogs we're working on implementing. So those are just some of the changes recently, and we'll continue to work through all the recommendations in the report from the Humane Society.